what's going on out there, YouTube? This is STL0320 representing JVS. This is my review for Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I got an early review for you. So, I was able to see the screening tonight. Godzilla, the King of the Monsters stars Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, Millie Bobby Brown, Ken Watanabe, Z Zhang, and a slew of others. Sally Hawkins was in this. Tywin Lannister himself was in this. Charles Dance. And it was just a slew of interesting actors. Even O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube's son, was in this as well. What did I think about the film? Let's talk about the positives first. I think that the aesthetic and the design of Godzilla himself, he had way more character in this one. They used him so many different ways where he kind of just came in clutch at the perfect amount of time. There was different things that they did with him as far as his ability that I thought were really intriguing. Different depths to who he actually is. From a lineage standpoint, from history standpoint. Like, there was some certain key moments in the second act that I was like, man, why didn't you just make the original movie about this or go in this direction instead of going and branching off all these different kind of trees, so to speak? And I think it made some endearing different things about the character Godzilla, as well as just the VFX. I think the VFX for Godzilla worked best out of all the other supernatural characters in this film, because this movie had a lot of different monsters. I mean, from all the different classics, you're gonna love. If you're a fan of the original Godzilla films, you're gonna love what they do with this one, especially the villain in this one. I thought they did a really good job with him in terms of the usage of the character, or the creature, I should say. There were some spotty moments, specifically with the different heads and the dragon heads, that I kind of felt like I don't know if they were rushed or they just weren't polished well. I couldn't get behind some of them. I feel like the best polished VFX work when it comes to like monster films and it comes to like monster action, was definitely Pacific Rim. Like, I don't know what they had cooking there, but it's just amazingly immaculate and photorealistic. I think Avatar would be a good comparison as well. But they did a really good job with Godzilla. It's just some of the other moments with the villain that just didn't look as good. But then you start going to some of the negatives. Is the fact that they had such great actors in this one really is really sad, because I think a lot of the characters were not written that well. Kyle Chandler's character, for instance, like, he's very intellectual, very, in your face, ambitious. Like, he seems as though he is very tortured. Vera Farmiga's character seems like she's very smart, and she's also very passionate about her belief system in terms of things. Millie Bobby Brown seems like she's very engaging, like she's gonna go outside the grain. But then each one of those characters have an other side to them, where it's like, okay, Kyle's character, Mark, is like trying to be this action hero when he's not the last action hero. Vera's character, Dr. Emma, even though she has this belief system, she switches on a dime about something that I was like, yo, wait, what? What are you actually saying? What are you really saying right now? And it just throws everything out of whack. And I'll explain why without spoiling anything. But to get back to Mark Russell's, the character Mark Russell, like, in addition to that, he feels very much so one way about Godzilla and certain things because of something that happens. And this movie suffers from a lot of what I consider exposition exhaust. Because it's like, all of a sudden, like, the character Mark will be like, well, this happened, this, and this is why I have a problem with this. Or like something that'll happen later on in the second act where they kind of describe something that makes sense in terms of like Monarch, and in terms of why I should feel this way about this, because this character was tortured because of that. But they don't go anywhere because they don't show it. They explain it, but they don't show it. And it's kind of like there's these turns that happen that just don't make sense. Specifically with Millie Bobby Brown's character, I know all three of these actors and actresses can act. I know Millie Bobby Brown can act. act. She's an amazing actress. She sells the scenes that they give her, but they don't write them well. Where it's like, I'll get to the editing in a second, but there's a couple different choices that she makes, and I'm like, I don't feel anything for you because you made this choice. Like, why should I care what happens to you when you kind of obviously don't care about this? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I can't gravitate to these characters because of the way that they're written, because of the way they're processed. In addition to that, the editing. There are certain moments that certain things will happen where a character make an action like doing this, and then all of a sudden they're going doing something completely different. I think that they chopped this movie down a lot. And maybe that suffers the characterization and the identification of where these characters could have gone, or maybe flashbacks that were there that got taken out, because the editing just doesn't do any service when it comes to the actual human characters in this. As well as there's certain characters there's no point to them actually being there. I think that O'Shea Jackson's character could probably have been a really good character, but they don't really do much. They don't really do much with them in terms of like making me do it. It's kind of like take Transformers, right? Take Tyrese's character, right? He is a soldier. He has a function, but he doesn't really have a purpose. You know what I'm saying? But there's something endearing about him that makes me gravitate to want to see more what they're gonna do with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, or something like really messed up happens to him where I'm kind of like, oh wow, I care about where this is gonna go. They don't do anything with that. They focus really well on the monsters and on the action and how they actually are facilitating and how they're functioning, why they're functioning. But you don't care about the human element, where it's like it might be thousands of people dying. And it's like, I don't have any weight because I haven't really attached to anything that these characters are here. Like, the characters are kind of more so like in a bubble or somewhere contained somewhere where they're kind of all shoot. They're not in the line of fire but so many times in this film. Whereas when I looked at the trailer, I was like, oh man, the world is going to end. Like, they've got to battle. Godzilla's got to save us. And that's not necessarily the way that this movie is actually plotted out. And that might be the way this is also written. What else? Ken Watanabe and Zize Zhang play the role of Dr. Lorraine and Dr. Ashiro. Dr. Ashiro in the first Godzilla movie, was the one that was kind of advocate for Godzilla. And Dr. Eileen, I like both of their characters, but they don't do anything with them. Matter of fact, Dr. Eileen, I was like, this is interesting. Wait, what? Where is this going? And I think that they could have done so much more with certain characters that I did care about, that I did kind of have some ties to, and they just don't. You know what I'm saying? And it's a little sad. I think the movie itself does make a decent action flick. I think it actually is. When the action is on, it actually is pretty enjoyable. But I think the problem is that the human element is there to make you feel attachment to loss or attachment to destruction or what could happen. And when the main characters start making character motivations like, oh, well, let's do this. This might sacrifice everybody or everything. And you're like, why do I care? Right? And I think that's part of the problem. And I know it sounds like I'm bad-mouthing the movie. It's not. It's not a bad movie. I'm not saying that. It's just I couldn't get behind the human element. I did enjoy the action moments. Some VFX was a little spotty. Too much exposition. Not well written. And the editing was just a little off. And it was noticeable. And on top of the way that it was written, like certain things that happened, I was like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And unfortunately it did. Now, all that being said, I look forward to the next film. I look forward to where this is going next. All I can say is, taking a quote from the Black Panther, is this your king? Is this your king? Like, that's where I go with it. But I'm not going to edit this review. I'm just going to post it up just as it is. Hopefully you guys do appreciate my heart and my honesty. Hopefully you guys please leave a like. I would really appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go and share this. I will be releasing my first reaction somewhere on Twitter and YouTube tonight. And then whenever this embargo lifts, I'll post it up for you guys. But I'll talk to you guys a bit later on. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't going to stop. Have a blessed one, guys. Peace. Oh, yeah. By the way, I give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. I apologize. I totally forgot to give the rating. And to also add in my thoughts on the human characters. When you think about all the other Godzilla films and all the older stuff, like, the human characters really didn't play a big role. It was really all about the fighting. It was really all about the mythology and the history. And there's a rich history here or there. That's the reason why I'm attached to see where things are going to go next. But in all honesty, the original ones never really catered to a good narrative or the human element, to be quite honest. But anyway, I just want to make sure I give you guys my review number, 6.5 out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Please make sure you like. Talk to you guys later. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Yeah, I changed my shirt. You know what I mean by that, right?